Do you feel depressed? Do you sometimes struggle to get out of bed or go through your day? You're not alone. Depression is an illness that is complex and multifaceted, affecting millions of people worldwide. Depression is more than just being sad, which is what many think it is. It can lead from mild feelings of sadness to debilitating and all-consuming darkness. Depression can be seen in many forms in varying degrees of intensity. To learn more about this, here are 4 levels of depression. 1. Mild depression. Starting with mild depression, this is the lowest stage of depression where symptoms start to manifest. At this stage of depression, you're still able to start your day and get things done, but there's a feeling of emptiness or disconnection from life that's always present. This stage is characterized by a persistent feeling of sadness or low mood that lasts for at least 2 years. You may have trouble finding pleasure in activities that used to bring you joy and may feel tired or lack energy more often. Despite being a less severe form of depression compared to major depression, mild depression can still significantly impact your daily life and relationships. It's common for people with mild depression to feel hopeless or have a negative view of their future. If you struggle with mild depression, you may also struggle with self-doubt. For example, a person who has been struggling with a persistent low mood may start to experience physical symptoms such as headaches, digestive problems, and fatigue. They may also find it difficult to get out of bed in the morning and may struggle to get through the day without feeling exhausted. This is also common in parents who feel a sense of guilt for not connecting with their kids or not being able to be the parent they want to be. A parent with mild depression may sometimes struggle to find joy in spending time with their family and may have difficulty engaging in activities they used to enjoy. The onset of mild depression is often gradual and may go unnoticed for a while. You may just find yourself having more and more bad days until there are hardly any good days at all. With mild depression, you may have moments where you're somewhat happy, a funny joke or a funny scene in your comfort show. However, it can feel more often than not there's a cloud over you that seems to follow you around. 2. Moderate depression. Imagine a once avid runner who used to love running. He now finds it difficult to motivate himself to go for runs and notices a dip in performance. Despite the feeling of guilt, this person prefers to stay in and sleep to avoid having to deal with how sad and depressed he is when awake. Or a mother who used to enjoy spending time with her children and being involved in their activities. She now feels overwhelmed and fatigued all the time, and the idea of being with her children and family fills her with dread. These are examples of how moderate depression can affect daily living. Have you ever felt like you're just not yourself? Like you're going through the motions of your daily life, but you just can't seem to shake that feeling of sadness or hopelessness? If so, you may be experiencing moderate depression. At this stage, symptoms can feel a bit more intense than mild depression. You may find yourself feeling more physically and mentally exhausted, having difficulty concentrating, and being present in your own life. Moderate depression can feel like a heavy burden that affects all aspects of your life. It can make the simplest tasks feel like a monumental effort. If you're at this stage, you may also find yourself withdrawing from activities and people that you once enjoyed, like hanging out with friends, going to the gym, or pursuing hobbies. The things that once brought you joy and excitement may now seem unappealing or just too difficult to do. It's also common for people experiencing moderate depression to have trouble sleeping or to sleep too much, like the runner we talked about. Someone with moderate depression may also be experiencing changes in appetite, which can result in weight loss or gain. All of these symptoms can leave you feeling physically and mentally drained, making it even harder to tackle the challenges of daily life. 3. Severe depression. Meet Sarah, an artist who has been struggling with depression for several years. Sarah used to be passionate about her work and would often spend long hours in her studio, creating beautiful pieces of art. However, in the past year, her depression has taken a severe turn and she is struggling to find joy in anything, including her work. Sarah feels unable to get out of bed most days and feels helpless and hopeless. She now has thoughts of hurting herself or entertains the idea of dying accidentally just so she doesn't have to keep going. When she manages to get out of her home, she feels like she's a robot on autopilot. Many people who struggle with depression describe it as being stuck in a body that's not theirs. It feels like they're just going through the motions and watching their body go through the day from an external point of view. While this feeling may be present in all stages of depression, it's much more intense in severe depression. At this stage, the symptoms of depression can feel overwhelming and all-consuming. You may find yourself having suicidal or self-harm thoughts, experiencing severe weight loss or gain, and struggling to perform even the most basic tasks of daily life. Tasks like showering, brushing your teeth, or making breakfast feel impossible. It can also feel like there's no escape from the darkness that has taken over your life. At this stage, you might start to see feeding yourself or taking care of yourself as unnecessarily tiring. In addition to the feelings of sadness and hopelessness, people with severe depression may also struggle with the feelings of worthlessness and guilt, and a lack of interest in activities that were once enjoyable. They may also experience significant changes in appetite and willingness to socialize, sleep difficulties, and an inability to concentrate or make decisions. 4. Major or clinical depression. The next stage of depression is major depression, also known as clinical depression. This level of depression is marked by a profound sense of sadness, hopelessness, and a complete loss of interest in life. This is the most critical stage of depression, as anyone at this stage poses a threat to themselves and sometimes others around them. According to studies on the varying severities of depression, this stage is characterized by severe, persistent, and debilitating symptoms that greatly impact the ability to carry out daily activities and maintain relationships. There's also the increased tendency to harm themselves or loved ones. In many cases, a person struggling with this may require hospitalization and may have had multiple suicide attempts. People with major depression usually feel like they're drowning in a sea of negative emotions, unable to escape the darkness that has taken over their lives. They may have difficulty sleeping, eating, and even finding the energy to get out of bed in the morning. It can be a struggle to maintain relationships, perform at work or school, and carry out basic tasks of daily life. Major depression may also lead to avoidance of social situations and agoraphobia, which is an anxiety disorder. There could also be intense feelings of guilt, worthlessness, and despair. At this stage, there are also persistent thoughts of death and suicide. It's also common to find intense physical symptoms, such as long-lasting chronic pain and intense digestive problems without relief. The severity of these symptoms often make it challenging to function, let alone find hope and joy in life. You may also notice that the impact of major depression starts stretching further than you, affecting your relationships, work or school performance, and overall quality of life. It's important to understand that major depression or any of the other levels of depression are not a personal weakness or a choice, but rather a serious illness that affects your brain and alters the way you experience the world. What about the signs of high-functioning depression? Watch this video to learn about that.